right, had to split 16 into a part 2 in order to do the ironing phase off of camera. So we are still at step 9C. So I stepped off of camera view to dry iron the backing or the fusible onto the wrong side of my project. Here's your right side and here's your wrong side. So at this point, between 9C and 9D, I've got to remove the waste paper. So once again, gently, I'm just kind of grabbing the project with my thumb and index finger here. And with my other thumb, I'm just kind of rolling the paper back and it let go quite nicely. And I'm just going to slowly peel it up. I don't really believe you can do any damage, but I do recommend that you go slow. What you may find in working with the fusible, again, it is, you can see, sticky, sticky, sticky. We don't want it to roll back on ourselves because that peeling fusible away from raw fusible is not a fun task. So I wanted to get that far, and look, even there, it still really wants to hang on to me. But there you go. So you've got your second waste paper, the one with the grid, that just goes by the wayside. If you love these shapes, hang on to this as a tracing template. Otherwise, it becomes trash. All right, looks like I'm pretty much in the field. And then I'm gonna move on. So now I'm on step 9D, and what I need to do is grab my die cut cotton, and I need to match. You'll notice on this one, the wrong side is quite white because this has been surface painted. That's how the color and design was applied. I need to match wrong side of the cotton to the wrong side of the wool. And I've done a lot of these. I just want you to know, your instinct says, wouldn't it be easier to put the fusible on here? I find that I get way too many wrinkles and bubbles, so I do much better getting it perfectly onto the wool first and then matching the cotton to it. And then just repeat that same step that we did earlier in 9B, where you were matching fusible to the backing. Now you're matching cotton to the backing. And again, match it to the very best of your ability. Don't be surprised if there's some change in the shape. Again, as I stated earlier, you know, it may have shrunk, it may have stretched a little bit. I don't really want to cut any away until I am super sure I've done the very best I can to get it matched up well. So I'm real happy with here. And I'm pretty happy with here. I realize I'm short some here. Don't worry about that. It looks like I may be short some cotton all along this side. It's not gonna hurt a thing, so don't panic. You're just smoothing with your hand to get it down to the best of your ability. And I truly do want you to use your hands, use both hands. It should feel bumpy in that where there's applique on the reverse side and stitches, you're gonna feel that, but you should not feel any bubbles and you should not feel any wrinkles. If you feel wrinkles or bubbles, I need you to stop before you iron it permanently, lift it back up and smooth it back down until you've done the best you can to get that smooth. So I'm real happy with how that feels, and really it's, for me, it's more a feel than a visual. I often feel a mistake before I can see a mistake when it comes to putting that down on the fusible. And then I'm going to turn it to this side. I see I've got a little excess cotton here, so I'm just going to use my thumb and see if it'll allow me to coax the wool into place. It seems to be happy where it is. So at this phase, I'm going to go back to my iron, and now I'm not ironing on paper, meaning I'm not ironing on parchment. So once again, I need to do that steam fusing. So I'm going to go back to my press cloth. I'm going to cover it. You've either spritz it to dampen it and you've ironed it till it's dry, or you've dunked the press cloth to iron it until it's dry. And then I'm going to ask you to repeat the step on the wrong side. And that may seem like it's a little over and above what's necessary, but your goal with steam fusing or steam pressing is to deactivate the fusible. We wanted it to help stick and get us where we needed to be, but we don't want it so sticky anymore once it's time to stitch on it. So that's why you're steam fusing from the back as well as the front. So I'm going to move mine back to the front, and I'm going to just check my view so I'm sure I'm in the field. Very good. and I'm going to place my press cloth down. I don't think I've ever explained why I mark my press cloth this side up in all my papers as well. If there's any migration of fusible, meaning if there's some excess out here, I want it to stick to the back or wrong side of this. I don't want it on my iron. And by the same token, the next time I use this press cloth, I don't want to mistakenly turn it like this and find that I'm ironing through sticky fusible, because I've just undone my whole purpose of marking these, which is to try to keep the fusible just on one side so that it's not gunking up the iron, and it can quickly if your process doesn't have that much thought in it. So again, I'm going to step away from the camera and permanently fuse my backing to my background of my finished stitchery for Project 2, Sun and Sail. So I'll pick you back up on the next step, which is going to be step 10, where we're going to blanket stitch the perimeter.